Okay, so this is for the quizzes that you're doing online. If for whatever reason you cannot access it online, make sure you're typing in the address correctly, join.quiz with one Z and then is with two Z's.com. And then you type in the code, whatever code your teacher gave you. Okay, so if you were in Ms. Higdon's classes, these are your codes for 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Okay, and then your teacher should have emailed it out to your parents, and they should have given it to you in class, depending on your teacher. Okay, so if you cannot access it online, it is attached to the home calendar, so you can print out a hard copy because you must have this done by tomorrow. Now, we do not recommend just doing the hard copy if you can get online, okay, because it doesn't give you that feedback whether you're doing it right or wrong. Now, we are going to go over it here. So for this one, yes, we could solve it by hand, or we could put it in the calculator. This side in y1, this side in y2. So I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to type in 2x plus 3, parentheses 5x minus 7 equals 47. And I am looking, right there. This is the work that you must show on your test to get full credit. Y1 and Y2 match at 4. So that is your answer. Done. Here. So let's say we want to do it by hand. You're at home, you don't have a calculator. Okay? We can't have x's on both sides, so minus x minus x. So we have 4x minus 10 equals 6. Let's move over the 10, so plus 10 plus 10. So 4x equals 16. Divide by 4, divide by 4, x equals 4. Another one. Solve for f. These are our favorite literal equations. We've got our steps. First we isolate. What variable are we solving for? We are solving for f. Then we say other side. So whatever else is with that circle, we need to get rid of. So to get rid of a minus 24, you have to add 24. Then we say side by side. We cannot combine an s and a 24. So we have s plus 24 side by side equals 3f. And the final step is divide. Divide this side by 3, divide this side by 3. So f equals s plus 24 divided by 3. Here's your answer. On your test, it's going to have you also verbalize your steps. So the first thing I did was I added 24 to both sides, and then I divided everything by 3. So make sure you can talk yourself through it as well. Let's try one with y. So we isolate, other side, so minus 2x, side by side, so we write them side by side. So negative 4y equals 8 minus 2x. And then the final step is divide. Divide each part by negative 4. So y equals 8 divided by negative 4 is a negative 2. Negative and a negative is a positive, and this would be 1/2 x. So 1/2 x goes with this. Negative 2 is the same as minus 2. There's your answer. 5. We isolate. See, they work every time. Other side, minus 10x, minus 10x. We write it side by side. So negative 2y equals 6 minus 10x. Final step, divide. Divide everything by negative 2. So y equals a negative 3. Negative and a negative is a positive 5x. So it's a positive 5x minus 3. Is the graph a function or not a function? So we are using our vertical line test. Running my vertical line across, this is a function. It never touches more than once. Only once, only once, only once, only once, only once, only once. We are good. Are you serious? It didn't print out any of my other pages. Okay, so now that we've got the rest of the question, sorry about that. Here, vertical line test. It is not a function. Here, vertical line test. Only touches one, only touches one, only touches one. One, we touched two. Not a function. Range. Range means Y. The Y values are bottom to top. So we have to frame it, and we're looking for the bottom, which is down here, and the top, which is up here. So the bottom is from 0 less than or equal to Y, and the top is at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's your answer. Remember, this is continuous because it's connected, so you know it has to have the inequality signs. Next one, find the domain. So this time we're looking for x, which is left to right. So left is here at -3. This time it's an open circle, which means we don't put the line underneath. And the right side is here at 4. And again, it's an open circle, so you don't put the line underneath. So -3 to 4. Okay, we've got another range. The bottom, so range is bottom to top. So the bottom is here at -5. It is open, so we don't put the line. And the top is here at 2. And that is not open, so we do put the line. So -5 to 2, there's your answer. Remember, you don't just stop at that point. You have to go to the very lowest part of this graph, which stops right there. Michael runs a mile about every 10 minutes. Is this discrete or continuous? Okay, running a mile, so that's distance and time. Do you measure distance or do you count distance? You measure it, so it is continuous. John hits a fly ball into the air. The ball reaches a maximum height of 2,000 feet after 4 seconds. What is a reasonable domain of the fly ball? So we're talking domain, and he's hitting a ball. Okay, so here's the ball. He's hitting it, reaches a max height of 200 after 4 seconds, and it's still going to have to go back down. I don't know why. Sorry, that was bad. Still have to go back down. So what's a reasonable domain for the fly ball? It doesn't stop at the very ceiling. Okay, balls don't fly. They fly and then they come back down. So what's a reasonable domain? So this is x value, so it's going to start at 0, and it's going to go to more than 4, but we're still talking seconds because it's domain, or the x, this is time. So it's going to be 8. So the answer is D. It has been observed that a plant is growing over time. When the plant arrived at the nursery, it was 2 centimeters tall. So I'm just going to kind of sketch a graph. So this is time, this is height. Again, these are things that you measure, so it's continuous, so it has to have the little inequality signs, okay? It was 2 centimeters tall. That's where it's starting. It appears to be growing 5 centimeters per week. 0.5 centimeters per week. You plan to watch it grow for 8 weeks and expect it to stop. So it doesn't have an arrow, just kidding. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to stop it at 8. So it starts at 2 and it's going 0.5 each week. So this could be our equation. Anytime you see that each or per or every, that tells us it goes with x. So So if I plug that in my calculator, two plus 0.5x, they're only watching it for 8 weeks. So at 8 weeks, it's going to be at a height of 6 centimeters. So a reasonable range. It started at 2, and it's going to 6. So that would be a reasonable range. Range is the y, which is right here. So you could have automatically eliminated time, because that is not going to be your answer. Okay, is the table a function? So that means x cannot repeat. Guys, you broke up with them for a reason. Don't repeat your x's. Okay? So here, 3, -2, 0, 3. This is not a function because our x's repeat. Okay, what about this one? Is this a function or not a function? 4, -2, -2, 0. Did our x's repeat? Yes. Not a function. Okay, Jamie sells pies for $15 each. So if we wanted an equation, y equals 15x. The amount of money he makes is a function of how many pies he sells. 0 pies, $15 if he sells 1, $30 if he sells 2, and so on. What is the domain? So if I plug this in my calculator, you can kind of see 15x. Domain is x values. So on your table, what are the possible x values or number of pies that he can sell? He could sell 0, he could sell 1, he could sell 2, he could sell 3. So it's not these, and we know domain is x, so it's not this one. It has to be this one. Now, remember, this is discrete. You count pies, you don't measure pies. So you know that it's discrete. That's why our answer choices have the little bracket things, braces, whatever. Okay, solve the following. So you could put this in y1, this in y2, and see where they're the same. These are going to be decimal answers. You can still do it, but let's go ahead and solve it by hand. So I'm going to come over here and copy it down. So 0.4x plus 1.6 is negative 1.6x plus 53.2. Okay, so you can't have x's on both sides, so let's plus 1.6x plus 1.6x. So this gives me 2x plus 1.6 equals, those are gone, 53.2. We're going to subtract this 1.6, subtract 1.6. So 2x equals so 53.2 minus 1.6 is 51.6. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So x equals 25.8. And that should do it. Is that one of our answer choices? Yes. Beautiful. Okay, so this has a typo in it. It's got X's and D's. I apologize for that. So if you just make them both X's, okay? For time's sake, no, I'll go ahead and work it out. Okay, so we have to distribute. So this is going to be 1D minus 3. So distribute here. This is going to be 0.8. Sorry, I made that a D, so I'll make this a D. Okay, minus 2.2 times a negative 10. Yes, so minus 2. Okay. Can't have D's on both sides, so minus 0.8D minus 0.8D. So that's 0.2d minus 3 equals a negative 2. We will add 3, 0.2d equals 1. Divide by 0.2, divide by 0.2. 1 divided by 0.2. D equals 5. And there's your answer. Inequalities, yay! You can always check your answer on your calculator, but you've got to do inequalities by hand so you know if it flips. I'll use a different color since it's right there. So we're going to combine our like terms. We've got a z minus 2z, so that gives me 3z. Let's move over this, so plus 2 plus 2. So 3z, those are gone, is less than 15. Divide by 3. Z is less than 5. And there's your answer. So this one, I'm going to come over here and do it for more room. So we distribute. So negative 2x minus 4 is less than 14. Add 4. This is an ugly color. So we've got negative 2x is less than 18. Divide by negative 2. X is less than negative 9. Okay, so see how they both have negative 9? We've got to know which way. Ah, I made a mistake. Because what did I forget to do? I divided by a negative. Ah! Greater than negative 9. See, I wouldn't have caught that if I had just done it on my calculator. So your answer here is D. Man, that was close. Second was almost done. Okay, so now it gave us a function. Every single time it gives us a function. What do I do? Plug it in my calculator. So let's go to y equals. And I type in 4x minus 7. This is in the parentheses, so this is your x. So what matches up with negative 9? Go over here. Negative 43. If you wanted to do it by hand, you were replacing x with negative 9. So 4 times negative 9 minus 7. This is negative 36 minus 7. So negative 43. Beautiful. That's what we got. Last page. Okay, so we've got another one. Gave us a function, plug it in our calculator. 3 divided by 4x plus 10. I've got it in my y equals. It is in the parentheses, so this is your x value. So what matches up with negative 12? 1. That was easy. If you wanted to do it by hand, 3/4 instead of x, we put negative 12 plus 10. This times this gives me a negative 9, which you can do in just a 4-function calculator, and that equals 1. Ooh, what's different about this one? They're still giving us a function, so we've got 3x minus 7, but this time instead, this 14 is the y. So we're looking for where 14 is in the y column. There it is. It matches up with 7. So that means x equals 7. Again, if you want to do it by hand, you're taking this, let me use a different color. You're taking this 3x minus 7, and you're setting it equal to 14. So plus 7, 3x equals 21. Divide by 3, x equals 7. That was almost faster than plugging it in my calculator. Amazing. Okay, so some fun word problems. Data was collected every 5 days for a month of 30 days on the growth of a virus. Which answer gives a reasonable domain for this situation? So it was collected every 5 days for a month. So you're waiting until 5 days and you're collecting it. Then you're waiting till 10 days and collecting it. Then you're waiting till 15 days and collecting it. 20 days and collecting it. You wouldn't have negatives. You can't have negative days. They're only checking it every 5 days. So you wouldn't have every single number in between. So it's not B. It's not A. So a reasonable domain would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Because there's 30 days in a month. Find the range values for this. Okay, yay! So they want us to find the y values for this function, where these are the x values. So if they gave us a table, they're giving us -1, 4, 6, and 10, and asking us to find the y. So plug this in your calculator. 3x plus 5. -1 matches up with 2. 4 matches up with 17. 6 is 23. 10 is 35. Again, you could plug each of these in by 1. 3 times -1 is -3, plus 5 is 2. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 5, 17. 3 times 6 is 18, plus 5, 23. 3 times 10 is 30, plus 5, 35. So your answer is 2, 17, 23, 35. Okay, to celebrate the holiday season this year, Six Flags has created an extreme 6-lane tubing hill with real snow called the Superman's Awesome Snow Tubing Ride. That's creative. The cost of each ticket for 1 day is $35. So each ticket is $35. That means that's 35 is going to go with our X. The number of tickets purchased by groups is given by the domain, which means X, of those numbers. What would be a reasonable range, or Y? So they're telling us 3, 8, and 12 are the X values, and they want us to find the Y values if each one is $35. So our equation, Y equals 35X, matches up with 3 is 105, matches up with 8 is 280, matches up with 12 is 420. And there's your answer. And that just makes sense. For 3 people in the total group, they're paying 105. For 8 people, 280. For 12 people, 420. All right, which of the following does not represent the number of slices of pizza eaten if the cafeteria charges $2 per slice, so 2x, and $1 for a drink, so plus $1 for a drink, and they spent less than $10. Okay, so now I got to simplify, so -1, -1, so 2x is less than 9, divide by 2, so x is less than 4.5. So they're saying which of the following does not represent. So is 5 less than 4.5? No. Is 3 less than 4.5? Yes. Is 4 less than 4.5? Yes. Is 2 less than 4.5? Yes. 5 is the only one that is not, so that is your solution. Okay, so here's one similar. Which of the following is contained? So now it is contained. So again, making it true. We got to simplify, so we distribute. So 6x is less than 4x minus 8 plus 5. Combine your like terms. 6x less than 4x minus 3. Let's move these x's over because we can only have x's on one side. 2x is less than a negative 3. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So x is less than negative 1.5. Okay, so is negative 1 less than negative 1.5? No. Is 0 less than negative 1.5? No. Is negative 6 less than negative 1.5? Yes. 3 is not less than a negative number. Okay, so here, solve for x if, so that means this is your y, and they're giving us a function. Y equals, let's type in 2x plus 10. Where does it equal 35? It's somewhere between 12 and 13. So, judging by our answer choices, the only one that's between 12 and 13 is B. So let's do it by hand just so I can show you how they're getting that answer. So you're trying to find where 2x plus 10 equals 35. So minus 10, 2x equals 25. Divide by 2, x equals 12.5. So even if you can't do it on your calculator, like here, we can do it by hand. Just be careful. Is it what they're giving you in the parentheses? We plug it in for x, or is it set equal to? So we set it equal to solve. Good luck on your test tomorrow. Make sure you have your review done, and I will see you tomorrow.